Do you ever just wake up and find that, well, all of the shit has hit the fan at the same time? Well, today's one of those days, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, hello, I'm Screezilla, and welcome to War Thunder. And oh boy, what a fun one! So Challenger 2's turret has been leaked online by a former commander of the Challenger 2, who decided that it would be a good idea to post the details to Gaijin's forum. Yeah, probably not a good idea considering they're still under the Official Secrecy Act, and yeah, you're not allowed to post them. So, this isn't the first time in the last month that something like this has happened. Very recently, a rather large document was left at a British bus stop with details about what's it, HMS Defender, um, one of the Type 45 destroyers operating in Crimea, and a lot of the details about its operations that are going on over there. About a 50-page document was just found sitting behind a bus stop, sodden wet, and yeah, leaked a lot of important information and things that shouldn't be leaked. And today, well, this morning, yesterday, I guess, same thing happened. So, this guy has effectively gone, look, the Challenger 2 is underperforming in game because you guys don't have the correct details. Well, no shit, of course they don't. But it does show what a sham that modern tanks are in War Thunder. Because you can't have the actual details. You can't actually put the proper details in game. You can't have the true information. So you're basically just guessing it. And this proves that it is just guesswork. Now, it's, it's guesswork that has some substance behind it, but it is guesswork. Now, the big thing for it was the actual mantlet. So this section here where the gun sits, and the armour behind it. So in-game, of course, 200mm of rolled homogeneous steel protection, and that's about it. Composite armour, there's nothing. The mantlet is a massive weak point. There's a little bit of extra steel on the outside, so you've got barely any protection with the mantlet, and that's a huge weak point. And what the papers allegedly said about this was that, well, no, actually, there's around about 800 to 1,000mm of protection there. So similar to the side sections here, there's a lot of protection in this section. There's ridiculous amounts of protection. In fact, it's actually much thicker. It's basically very similar to the Abrams. So, in all honesty, as I said, a lot of the claims are a little bit ludicrous. But from what I understand, it was showing it had about 4 to 300mm of protection on the actual mantlet, similar to the actual Abrams, which kind of makes sense because obviously allies do tend to share a few things and do tend to have a few things in their sort of general areas. So effectively, it means that this has been linked, and now there is critical information out there that says, okay, we now know the armor values of the Challenger 2. Now, the other thing as well is it was a cross-section of the turret, which is bad. The other thing is it was a X-ray cross-section of the turret, similar to as we can do in War Thunder, which gave a lot of details of the positioning of everything and what's inside, which is also not very good. So, all in all, this isn't a very good thing to happen. Now, let's just grab this up. So, the gentleman involved is a common poster to War Thunder and has been rather vocal on his issues with the Challenger 2 in the game, and he got so annoyed by it that he actually uploaded the manual, the actual manual and documents of a Challenger 2, the unclassified restricted Challenger 2 manual. just wow. I mean, wow. So he did get found. Gaijin got a little bit of a comment from the Ministry of Defence and were asked to take it down rather quickly, and that this is not good. And had to find out, yes, they were still classified. The chap involved is going to, well, his career is effectively bollocksed. Um, he's going to be spending the next 14 years in prison, and rightfully so. I mean, the Official Secrecy Act is a rather important document. These things are not taken lightly. You know, even for instance, my mum was part of the military, and she had documents from the 1950s, which were technically still under the Official Secrecy Act. They were nothing important. It was just what happens in the event of nuclear holocaust, because she was one of the spotters. But it was nothing, it was nothing salacious or interesting, in all honesty. But there is a length of time before it can become declassified, and you cannot give those information out. You cannot talk about it. You cannot let it out, because you are breaking the law, and you're going to end up in prison for it. You're going to get in a lot of trouble, and especially if you're a British citizen, or if you're in the Commonwealth, again, you're going to get in trouble for this kind of thing. And yeah, it's not a good thing to do. Now, I will just rectify with my mum stuff. It basically became declassified in, about 1995, I think. But it's still one of those things of, it does take a while for it to actually get to a point where it's fully declassified. I mean, certain time periods, they sort of go, yeah, that's all right, whatever. But this is really, really important information. And the thing that this does is that it's actually harmful to crews of the Challenger 2. Because it gave details of the turret traverse, gave details of everything inside the turret. Positioning, what's in there, what can actually be used. And this kind of stuff can get people killed. And that's the big implementation of this. It's the fact that something like this can actually get current service members injured or killed. You have to understand that this is a game at the end of the day. Like, you cannot go breaking secrecy acts just to be like, look, your tank is wrong in game, I'm going to jeopardize my career and end up in prison for 2 years because the mantlet is too weak. Please improve it. And the funniest thing about this is it just proves just how much wank it is at top tier anyway, because Gaijin can't improve this now. If Gaijin had upped the mantlet on their own accord, without any of those details, and they got it relatively close, then that's fine. Unfortunately, Gaijin can't upgrade the mantlet now. They can't get it close to what it is now, because if they do, because they've technically been holding some of the official documents, then they will get absolutely wrecked by the Ministry of Defence and get in a lot of trouble. So this guy has not only ruined his career, he's going to spend 14 years in prison, he's going to be branded as a traitor. He's also made the Challenger 2 worse in War Thunder, which is going to earn him so much more hate. Oh boy, how ridiculous is it? But as I said, the main thing I wanted to mention on this is just the fact that it just shows just how modern vehicles and modern tanks and modern vehicles, modern stuff in War Thunder, it just doesn't really work, because it's all just guesswork. It's all just hearsay. It's all just guessing. As I said, it's educated guessing, but it is guesswork. And yes, you can play the modern vehicles, but they're not going to be as accurate as they should be. And I've always felt like this is why modern vehicles just really made no sense in War Thunder, because when you've got stuff from the 1960s and 70s, then you can actually make it modern because it's declassified. There is lots of information about it. World War II vehicles, you can go to a museum and measure it. Whereas with the brand new Abrams, with the Leclerc, with the Alligate, with the Leopards, with the bloody T80s and, just everything modern, you can't do much other than go, well, I mean, it's an estimated guess. I mean, we think that's right. It just doesn't work. And at the end of the day, it's just fantasy mode, effectively. It's close, but it is still a fantasy. And this just proves the point that it is just a bit of a fantasy mode, and yeah, it sort of explains why I don't play top tier and tend to avoid modern stuff because it's a load of wank. All right, guys. Look, let me know in the comments below what you think about this, because oh God, I'm just done with humanity after this one. I mean, what a absolute plonker. But yeah, I can't even think of anything more to say. Alright, till next time, this is me, Carl Screezilla, wishing you all the best, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.